All right, second graders, it's time for Lulu is Getting a Sister, chapter 14. In the previous chapter, Lulu got herself into a little situation. Sebastian crumbled under her backpacks, and now she has to carry him and the two big backpacks back down the mountain. So let's see what happens. Chapter 14. By the time they were down from the mountain, Sebastian slung over Lulu's shoulder, two backpacks hanging heavy on her back. Lulu was an exhausted wreck, and Sebastian's ankle was feeling better. Surprising. Lulu, now finished with him for the day, and having Sunday off, first took a long, cool swim in the lake, then spent the rest of the weekend wondering why all her BBBSBs had failed. Okay, so she'd gone too far when she tricked his skinny little kid into carrying two giant backpacks up the mountain. And okay, he'd rather hear secrets than eat candy. And when she told him that everyone liked her better than they liked him, who knew he would say that he liked her better too? The things Lulu did to Sebastian didn't seem to make him unhappy. She didn't think a lot harder about what else she had heard on campfire night that would. But dumping a mushy peanut butter and jelly in her little brother's bed and pretending she put it there just in case he got hungry, Counselor Caroline's story, sounded too messy for Lulu to do to Sebastian, even though Caroline said it was fun to watch her brother washing it out of his ears and nose and hair. And popping out of the closet and screaming boo to her little sister, Counselor Rosa's story, sounded too lame for Lulu to do to Sebastian, even though Rosa said that it was fun to hear her sisters eek, eek, eek. So maybe Lulu was thinking she ought to forget about those stories she'd heard on campfire night and chant Sebastian a bad, beastly chant instead. So, on Monday morning, when Lulu went to get Sebastian, she didn't say hello or even wave. Instead, she looked up at him and down. She looked him up and down, frowned an unfriendly frown, and started chanting. I did not, I do not, and I'll never want a sibling whose shirt is smeared with breakfast and whose nose is always dribbling, and whose teeth are stuck with pieces of food that keeps him nibbling, and whose always forever be nibbling, dribbling, sibling. You are such a great poet. That's such a good poem, Sebastian said to Lulu, completely ignoring the fact that he had been dissed. For the 100th time, I'm thinking, what's wrong with this kid? And there goes Sebastian, yet again, unbothered by Lulu's rude ways, and telling her how wonderful she is. And there will go Lulu, not listening to what he's saying. Except this time, for reasons I don't understand and can't explain. Lulu is giving Sebastian her total attention. I am a good poet. It is a good poem. Lulu unshyly agreed, enjoying each one of Sebastian's admiring words. And though she had planned on chanting another bad and beastly verse, rhyming sibling with dribbling and nibbling, with quibbling, look it up, she instead sort of smiled at Sebastian and told him to keep talking. And you're beautiful, said Sebastian, and you tell the funniest jokes. And, said Lulu, deciding she didn't need another verse, keep talking. And, Sebastian went on, you know the names of all the states and capitals and everything. True, said Lulu, not one bit bored with what Sebastian was saying. You can keep talking. To which Sebastian, admiringly, adoringly, replied, and I'm thinking you're probably perfect through and through. Oh, cut it out, Sebastian. What are you talking about? Lulu's okay, but probably perfect? Please. Yet Sebastian thinks she is, and Lulu really, really likes that he thinks she is. So perhaps it isn't surprising that Lulu is suddenly thinking a thought that she has somehow never thought before. She's thinking that having a younger sister might not be so bad, so hideous, so horrible, such a nightmare. if that sister totally adored her. And thought that she was a genius and a princess and a poet, and did whatever Lulu told her to, and gave Lulu all her candy and also her flashlight, and thought she was probably perfect through and through. Lulu is actually thinking that that she might not mind at all a little sister who believed that her big sister was maybe the greatest person she'd ever met. In the time she had left Camp Sisterhood, she was going to have to learn to teach a little sister to adore her. All right, that's the end of chapter 14. Do you think Lulu's mind is kind of switching a little bit? I don't know. Make a prediction and I'll see you next time.